better. Hello, Susie. Have you got a better? Yeah. There we go. So Susie is a student, and if you are on YouTube watching guitar things, check out her channel. What's your channel?
Susan Gardner Tube is the address. YouTube.com/Susan Gardner Tube.
Okay.
Susan Gardner.
Check it out. And she's been filming the restoration repair. It's practically a rebuild, really. Multiple things were wrong with this beautiful old guitar.
Glue, crack, tear out, patching, more cracks, new machines, a little bit of fretting to do. There's a couple of frets that are proud, but I think they'll stay where they are.
And they're not bar frets, are they?
No.
So they're brass, but...
they're in remarkably good condition.
Yeah.
This has been very well played. It's seen some action. It's been loved.
The best guitars have, absolutely. So essentially, you've taken over James's bench for the day, and are going to be doing some repair work with Christopher.
Yeah, we're going to be sticking some French polish on here, hopefully. So it will go well, and I don't ruin the guitar. But if I do, at least I can blame Christopher.
Yes. Always delicate.
I'll leave you to it. Yeah, check out Susan's page, YouTube, because the videos are actually pretty awesome. There's nothing better than... Well, it's kind of what you guys do when you're watching Crimson Guitars. We're learning as we go along, and it's really fun to watch.
Okay, so we're just rubbing alcohol on the surface to see how clean we can get it. And where are those horrible black bits are going to come off?
Exactly.
Try a little bit of pressure.
Okay. Well, that's really, really good.
I'm wondering whether we should get one of those credit card blanks or something and try and just scrape the black bits off.
We've got some.
So if you two want to be a student at Crimson Guitars, check out crimsonguitars.com. And in fact, we're going to go back upstairs and I'm going to talk to you about the website. Thanks, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Scratch it out now. There.
Send that back with me.
Off. What's your feeling about cork sanding blocks?
They're in the right situation. They're invaluable. They're not right for every situation,
Yeah,
though.
because they can leave the surface a bit undulating.
Yes.
One of the sanding blocks I've got is actually a rubber-backed one that's maybe for this just need a block of wood. I don't know.
For
Try and keep it.
since the surface is slightly, there's some inconsistencies to it, and there wouldn't be much point in getting it dead flat because we'd be cutting out different points.
Incidentally, the surface actually bows in here. It's dead flat there over the brace, and it bows in over the brace here. Although the brace is properly connected, it's properly glued.
Yes.
I don't know if that's deliberate, just for strength. Whether they've actually deliberately, it may be just over the years.
Yeah, that's a change in moisture.
Yeah, but I think it's intended to be completely flat rather than because modern guitars they tend. Is it like a 40-foot radius curve on the top that Martin used?
Martin's, I believe, yes, is a 40.
Do most people just keep the top flat?
I wouldn't recommend it. What you're doing in that case, what you do is you have your braces. You'll sand your braces. So if you're going for 40 on the top, sand the braces to 30, 25, something in there, and then glue it in place in the shower, and it keeps it. It puts tension on it, so the strings are forcing it back into position.
And then do you glue a flat bridge on it?
Yes, but the wood's flexible enough and the curve's subtle enough that it just bends to conformity. You can, if it's not.
The bridge will be rigid enough though to pull the top back around the bridge, won't it?
Slightly.
The bridge won't really flex much, will it? Or will it?
Depends on how your crown's oriented. If it's flats on, then it will just conform to the top.
Yeah.
Won't add so much pressure. If it's quarters on this way, you will end up stretching the top back a little bit, which can be good if you're having two kind of fighting tensions on the top. Then it will stay a little more stable than if it's just no force whatsoever. You just want to work this in a little more. Just get as much out of the cracks as possible before we move on to any sort of sandpaper. Now grab a credit card scraper.
A fair amount of dirt on that.
We'll just take off a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll sand this back a little bit.
It's weird, this stuff, isn't it? It's I think it's insect matter, but it's, I don't know. It's hard to be certain. But
that amount of stickiness and blackness has usually been tar in my experience.
oh, okay. But wouldn't that be soluble with naphtha?
If it's old enough and dry enough, we might have to soak it. Soak it for it to actually break apart. But
Let's just sand it.
yeah.
So this is 800.
Yeah.
Now, why use water when sanding?
Water acts as a lubricant. It helps the paper cut a little finer, and it helps the paper prevents the paper from clogging up.
Oh, okay.
Especially when you're sanding something that will come off in layers, like a finish.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, that's
So if you want
leaving very tar-like.
yes. So if you want to sand it up a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
just work your way over. Try and get your paper lubricated. Yeah, keep it in the air, so not focusing too much on one particular spot.
Yeah, it's the bit where you suddenly find you've
Yeah. With this
taken
one,
too much off.
probably every 15 seconds or so, I'd wet the paper and clear up a little bit of that stuff.
I guess just keep paper rotating and
Yep. That's odd.
just trying to keep my patience together. It's, I guess we all do it, but it's sort of like you start off with all sort of very careful, and then you start to think, actually, this isn't going very quickly, is it? Let's just start really digging in and let's scrub a bit harder, see if we can speed this all up.
You can smell that almost like sort of methylated smell from the finish coming up. It's
Yeah.
typically indicative of a cheaper French polish
This-
that was used.
This smell really probably still does smell quite strange inside. Oh, actually, no, it's the smell you're describing, but it used to smell of pea. I don't know what had been happening to it, but it was a very strange smell inside the guitar. And there was a plant growing in there. I didn't even discover it until I was doing I might have been patching the back, and I felt it, and I felt something, I pulled it, and there's this plant. It's just this weirdest looking, almost like this alien creature came out. It was just bizarre, and I didn't even know it was in. I'd done a whole load of stuff inside it, and I didn't even know it was there. But it was right down here by the tail block.
It's amazing what you can find in this room sometimes.
Yeah, I think this has been in a barn or something. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It looks like somebody's been writing on the surface of the guitar. It's only now becoming apparent. You can almost see a word. Yeah, it's almost been embossed with somebody's signature. I'm going to try and burnish the logo in a little bit so we can sand over the top of it without taking the logo off. Don't know how successful this will be, but here goes. And not very successful. Grains pulling me off. Not, maybe. The tool I'm using is just the end of a polished file. Or a polished end of a file. In theory, I can now sand over the top of the logo, and the logo will remain. Okay, so there's no need to filter it.
That's what this cotton rag is for. We soak the shock into the cotton ball, put that in here, wrap it up, and then it's automatically filtered
Bits are trapped.
as it's come out.
Brilliant.
Alright, so
And that's £2 cut.
yes.
And that's fine, is it? Do you need to dilute it at all?
For final coats, you might need to. For just starting to apply, it'll be fine. Alright, so got the ball. Twist off that end a bit. So now we've got that nice and tight with a nice kind of smooth surface. Come in.
Yeah, the reason I wanted to use a brush was to get in the ends, but I can see that you're managing to get coverage anyway. So
Yeah.
very useful having the little the block that it was carved on.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's looking gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Edible. Almost literally so, given the pure spirit that I've just used.
Absolutely. It'll be slightly intoxicating, in more than just the usual sense. Alright, so as I'm going here,
You're using rectified spirit. Some people know this as Polish spirit, but it is pure alcohol with no. The only impurity is water. They know how to live in Poland.
alright, so if you start to apply a little bit, so if you squeeze it a little bit, it's gonna kind of force out a little more of that moisture. There we go.
And
Go
then
on
just
wet.
brushing
Mhm.
off.
So go on wet. It'll get to a point where it sort of soaks back up into your cotton a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It'll dry out the rag a little bit. You'll feel it dry on the piece. It'll start
Yeah.
to tack up a little bit. At that point, you're pulling the shellac back off. So
Yeah.
it's a matter of just you put on plenty, let it dry out a little bit. You're pulling it back,
Yeah.
wiping it back.
tricky to get it round the edges though.
Yes.
And tricky to keep this on camera.
If you want to come around this side.
Edit. So at this point we're really just wiping it off. Oh, it's sticky. There we go. I can feel it sticking. And sort of leave it at that point when it's feeling sticky.
Right back off. Once it gets to the point where it's not hard to dry the flock off, but you'll feel a firm increase in tension, and then it'll go back a little bit. So you reach a point and it'll kind of ease back off to softness. At that point, we'll add a little more shellac to the cotton inside, and then start applying more coats.
That's sticky. So when you feel the stickiness, just squeeze a little bit to get more on, or
Yep.
Yeah, it's dragging now. Oh, there we go. It's sticky all the way, really. Hang on. Oh, got excess on there. Not the best shaped learner piece, really, is it?
You can practice with all of the curves.
Yeah, it's sticky again.
Alright, if you see, now probably use the point where you need to put a little more on the rag to apply more finish. You can see it's already starting to gloss up nicely.
And there's no need for oil or anything on this, no?
No, not at all. Yeah, once it burnishes up, polish it back, rub it back with either pumice compound or something like that, and it will attain a nice, lustrous, soft sheen to it. Alright, so we add a little more. Pleasant.
Yeah, just
really
soak it in.
Yeah. I'm going to be applying a fair amount of this.
I hope we've got enough of that, but there is another batch that's made with the denatured alcohol.
Yeah. Perfect.
So really put it on wet. And then rub it back.
Okay. Turn it up a bit. I'm going to start almost burnishing that surface.
Okay.
So we're just almost forcing that stickiness kind of off the surface, which is helping to start create like a nice firm seal over the surface of the material that you're working with.
So you're really pushing against the stickiness, really working it. Is the reason for using cloth like this that it effectively is a very mild abrasive?
Yes, slightly abrasive, ever so slightly, in the several orders of magnitude, thousands of grit, if you will. But it's also acts as a natural filter, and it's soft and damage won't leave any residue. Most importantly, you won't have anything confusing paper towel or something like that. You will end up with small threads or anything embedded in your finish, which is not ideal.
No. I love the filter idea. It never occurred to me that it's a natural filter.
Yeah.
Although I think this is fairly pure shellac. It's not much in the way of grit and stuff in it, but there did seem to be some in the first batch that I did.